Today, we're diving into a crisis that's shaking the Horn of Africa. Tigray's power struggle in Ethiopia and the growing tensions with Eritrea. In March 2025, the Tigray People's Liberation Front, or TPLF, saw a major shakeup. Debretsion. Gebremichael ousted interim regional president Getachew Reda, kicking off a possibly violent power struggle. Reda, who was working to reintegrate Tigray into Ethiopia while maintaining its autonomy, tried to remove senior military commanders. This move backfired, leading to clashes in cities like Mekelle and Adigrat. Debretzion's faction didn't just stop at removing Reda. They dismantled Tigray interim administration offices, detained loyalists, and reportedly targeted civilians and federal officials. This coup has turned Tigray's political landscape on its head. But this isn't just an internal issue. Ethiopia's strained relationship with Eritrea adds another layer of complexity. Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed is keen on regaining Ethiopia's access to the Red Sea, lost when Eritrea gained independence in 1993. This ambition has alarmed Eritrean government of President Isaias Afwerki. Eritrea, already wary of Ethiopia's intentions, has allegedly deployed troops to the Tigrayan border and is allegedly supporting Debretzion's TPLF faction. The border between Ethiopia and Eritrea is heating up. Military movements near contested areas like Badme, Zalambesa, Dankalia are raising alarms. Both nations accuse each other of preparing for war, and diplomatic efforts are on shaky ground. The dispute even threatens international maritime trade routes in the Red Sea. Ethiopia's attempts to partner with Djibouti, Sudan, and Somaliland for coastal access have prompted Eritrea to ramp up military drills and naval deployments. And let's not forget the humanitarian crisis. The conflict has left millions in Tigray reliant on disrupted international aid. Severe food shortages and outbreaks of diseases like malaria, cholera, and measles plague the region. With 86% of healthcare facilities damaged or destroyed, maternal and infant mortality rates are skyrocketing. Tens of thousands of Tigrayans have fled to Sudan and South Sudan, straining refugee camps already on the brink. The international community is urging for peace. The African Union, UN, and Western governments are calling for urgent diplomatic negotiations. However, mediation efforts are stalling, and the risk of a broader regional war is real. China and Russia remain neutral but are pushing for de-escalation. The African Union's attempts at mediation are hindered by deep mistrust between parties. So, what happens next? The stakes couldn't be higher for Tigray, Ethiopia, and the entire region. Without immediate diplomatic intervention and a commitment to uphold peace agreements, another devastating war looms on the horizon. Addressing the humanitarian crisis and restoring dialogue are crucial steps to avoid further disaster. In the coming weeks, all eyes will be on Ethiopia and Eritrea. Will diplomacy prevail, or are we on the brink of another conflict? Let's delve deeper into the historical context of the Tigray conflict. The Tigray People's Liberation Front, or TPLF, has a long history of political and military engagement in Ethiopia. Founded in the 1970s, the TPLF emerged as a key player in the struggle against the Derg regime, a brutal military junta that ruled Ethiopia from 1974 to 1991. The TPLF's victory in 1991 was a turning point. Alongside other rebel groups, they formed the Ethiopian People's Revolutionary Democratic Front, or EPRDF, a coalition that went on to rule the country for nearly 3 decades. This coalition brought about significant changes, including a new federalist constitution that granted considerable autonomy to Ethiopia's regional states, including Tigray. However, the relationship between the TPLF and the central government has always been fraught with tension. Despite their role in toppling the Derg regime, the TPLF's influence waned over the years, especially after Abiy Ahmed became prime minister in 2018. Abiy's push for political reform and his vision of a more centralized Ethiopian state clashed with the TPLF's desire for regional autonomy. These simmering tensions boiled over into open conflict in November 2020, when clashes erupted between federal forces and TPLF fighters. The conflict has since evolved, with shifting alliances and new power struggles, as seen in the recent ousting of interim regional president Getachew Reda by Debretsion Gebremichael. Understanding this historical backdrop is essential to grasp the complexities of the current situation. The Tigray conflict is not just a battle for territorial control, but a struggle deeply rooted in Ethiopia's political history and the aspirations of its diverse communities. Now let's explore the international implications of the Tigray conflict. The Horn of Africa is a strategically important region, with major international shipping routes passing through the Red Sea. Any escalation in the conflict could disrupt global trade and have far-reaching economic consequences. Additionally, the involvement of regional powers like Sudan and Somalia adds another layer of complexity to the situation. These countries have their own interests and alliances, which could influence the outcome of the conflict. Sudan, for example, has its own territorial disputes with Ethiopia over the Al-Fashaga region, and tensions have flared as both countries mobilize troops along their shared border. Somalia, grappling with its internal issues, could see destabilization spill over its borders, further complicating its fragile state. Moreover, international actors like the United States, the European Union, and China have vested interests in the region. The US and EU have called for ceasefires and humanitarian aid, while China, a major investor in Ethiopian infrastructure, has largely taken a more neutral stance but remains keenly observant. The conflict has also led to a humanitarian crisis, with millions displaced and in dire need of assistance. Neighboring countries and international organizations are under pressure to provide aid and support, but logistical challenges and security concerns make it a daunting task. The global community watches closely, aware that the outcome of the Tigray conflict could set a precedent for regional stability and influence future geopolitical dynamics in the Horn of Africa. The stakes are high, and the world holds its breath, hoping for a peaceful resolution. If you found this segment insightful, please subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more updates. Thank you for watching.